Right now, we're going to be looking at a game with Urat playing, or Urat maybe, playing Shyvana in the jungle. And they will be going, they will be jungler, that's all. For now, starting with Boots 3-pot. Pretty standard start for a lot of junglers, a lot of heroes in general at this point, yeah. There's one Amp Tome, but, you know, who knows. That's an APS mid. So, just nothing too crazy so far. Gonna go Burnout first, of course. Help in the jungle. That's how you jungle Shyvana. Starting at blue is kind of a strange choice. Mostly Shyvana starts at red. Basically, the type of jungle Shyvana is an aggressive counter jungler. You don't have great ganks because you don't have any CC. You do a lot of damage though, and you clear camps very quickly, and you can do a ton of damage if you run into the enemy jungler. So basically, you'll be basically clearing camps. You should be stealing their camps, and you should be ganking, you know, if you can. Going back to wolves is usually the right call. Double golems do a lot of damage to you, and since most junglers now are AoE clearers, going to wolves lets you hit 3 people instead of just 2, and they're easy to clear, and they're more centrally located, and it's just generally better to just get them instead of double golems. Using the health pot's good early. No reason to save them. A lot of people save them for a while. There's no reason. Now you're going to red. One thing is she does have flash instead of exhaust. Now this should be pulled into the bush because the enemy jungler could be right in this top bush, and you could be getting ambushed. This could be getting stolen, and you're at low enough health you could just be dead. There's no reason not to pull into the bush. It just protects you. She's at pretty low health. I don't know what runes or mastery she's going. You could definitely be clearing this camp. I don't know what this standing around is. You don't want to do any standing around, basically. That's just all lost time. If you're gonna go back, I mean, going to the bush is fine. Probably get either a cloth armor or a vamp scepter. Vamp scepter is a couple pots, not too bad. Now you're just gonna get right back to the jungle. See, Nautilus is ganking. Nautilus is a ganking jungler. Shyvana's a clearing, but Shyvana should be counter jungling. You really need if you're gonna play a jungler, you have to know what type of jungler that is. That flash was a little even if you succeeded on that flash, unless it was just a miss smite, you really didn't want to flash, and you shouldn't be running in really against a Nautilus. You're not really ever gonna get the opportunity to kill him, and he can just hook you under the tower. Yeah, you're just taking a bunch of damage. Like, you're doing some damage to him, but he's fine going back. Whereas, you know, you wanna farm these creeps before they hit the tower. Is basically what you want to be doing right now. And you know, I mean, so you don't want to like, just don't engage for no reason. You know what I mean? Just, you know, a lot of people just like to fight, and I understand that, but you just want to make sure that the fights are benefiting you in some way. Now I'm going top. See, Akali's kind of low. Poppy's kind of not low. And Akali's playing. This is one thing. When you come to gank and people play really far back, you just kind of ran in. You definitely want to ping. I don't know if you did. And she's just ghosting away. She's probably gonna get away. Akali just didn't do a lot. It's good that you backed up. It's good that Akali backed up. She almost ran in and died. Now just you guys should just be pushing to the tower, and then if Poppy was still around, you guys could probably kill her. But Akali didn't want to do that. You didn't do that, so that's fine. Just get back to the jungle. Use your smite probably on these. It's just you don't really need it up right now. You're not going to contest dragon or anything. You're not doing any buffs until about 7:10. 7:10's about when blue spawns. At which point you should always give the second blue to your AP if they're a if they're a mana dependent champion. Always, you should never take it for yourself. Looks like you took it for yourself. Okay, you don't want to do that. It's so important for them to have those cooldowns, for them to have that spam ability with the mana. It's a good thing that you left the camp and you're willing to go help and you don't need to sit there and finish the camp. That's very good. Great counter gank. Do you get this guy? Good. Great play. Way to just be aware of the map. Be willing to jump out. Ezreal got killed. I mean, you chased off Nautilus. I mean, that was a fine play. Now you just want to go back to the jungle. No reason to be here. There's no Cat. You'll never get Cat. You can't CC her. She can always jump away. Poppy's here too. Yeah. Yeah. You just want to run at Poppy right now. You don't want to let her push you out of the tower because that let Cat get on you. If you just run at her, she'll push you back towards the tower, and then you can just keep running right by her, and you can just get back towards your base, and she can keep trying to dive you. She might kill you. Your flash, I don't remember if it was up, but you want to just always give yourself the best chance. I mean, that was a situation where you probably should have just been at Wolves already, but you kind of stayed mid a little too long, and you paid for it. But even since you made that misplay, you could still recover from that had you just run straight at her. But, you know, we'll learn from things. You know, good getting the red. But, really, I think you need to be counter jungling a little more heavily. I mean, ganking, you're never going to gank a Katarina with Shyvana. You killed her there. She kind of dove and got a little low. But, I'm pretty sure she could have escaped anyways, just because, I mean, she just has the jump. If she has flash up, she's just not a champion you can really do much to. You're better at like slow, immobile champions where you can just lock them down with the red buff slow. And if you're gonna gank somebody, those are the kind of champions. Like Poppy's not. I mean, Poppy's a little fast, but I mean, Poppy's a champion you can get on and just kind of stick to her. I mean, she's hard to kill because of her passive and her knockback and her speed. For a variety of reasons, but I mean, you guys almost killed it that one time. Right now you're waiting. Yeah, what you're gonna realize is, like I said, you need to realize what kind of jungle you are, and you're a clearer. You're a clearer in a counter jungle. You're not really a ganker. You gank when there's an opportunity, but you don't have a strong ganking ability, especially if you don't go exhaust. If you don't go exhaust, you have no CC. Without red buff, you have nothing. Literally zero. You have to get on the other side of them and get the knockback with your dragon is the only form of CC you can muster. And it's just not that potent, really. This is good. This is the first counter jungle you've done. It's 14 minutes in the game. This is good, though. You take the wolves, you leave one, that's fine. That's a good play. Your mid is getting trounced, and I understand you're probably sitting here thinking, oh, I need to help this mid, but you can't. You really can't. This mid isn't really somebody you can help. He doesn't have CC, you don't have CC. You know, it's 4 went bottom, you guys should just push this into the tower. Turret, I was trying to say turret. But, I mean, yeah, that was bad. That was something that wasn't good, but you did this is great, pushing down this tower. I mean, Ezreal should be doing this, Ezreal's getting caught, but you're making the right play. Now, you're running into a bunch of people. This is dangerous. I don't know how this ends up, but good kill, great kill. But yeah, just know like that you did run into a bunch of people, and I hope that you were looking at their HPs and what exactly was going on. I can't see the HPs with the replay, but that was good. It worked out, but just be cautious when running into that many people. Kali's taking a red. That's fine. Her tower's down, so hopefully she'll stop roaming a little bit. Maybe she can get some ganks off. Building into Wit's End. That's pretty good. You might want to finish Boots, though, because you don't really have... It gives you a lot more speed. I mean, you're really fast with your burnout on anyways, but you want to be that aggressive counter jungler, clearer, and you basically... The boots really give a lot of extra mobility and increases your clear speed and just increases a lot of stuff. This is good. This is good to go bottom when you see them getting pressured, looking for an opportunity to jump in with your dragon from behind the tower. Maybe if you get a pink ward down here, this is a good start. You have a Nunu, you have you with Wriggles, and Akawi's down here, Poppy's not. This is a great time to dragon. Should probably pull it out, just so it can't get stolen, just so a cat can't really jump in on you guys. I think the last one's Nautilus, so that's not a major issue unless he flashes. But I mean, just pulling it out is generally safer. Ash looks like these guys might have disconnected, but good to get the dragon and pick up the kill right afterwards. I'm hoping he pushes into the tower. You do. This is something you seem to have a good grasp of. Just pushing. Great kill. Great kill. You realize that you could just run at him. Now you don't really need to be chasing this cat. Cat, like I said, cat's like a really tough champion to kill. Oh, you guys end up getting it. I've been oh, no, you didn't get her? Oh, she got Kale. Well, yeah, like I said, yeah, you can't stop for the red when you see them chasing. It's just too dangerous. If you think you can fight them, you stop and fight them, but otherwise you just run. Don't stick around, try to steal a buff, and get yourself killed, because then they just get the buff anyways. It's never worth it. Finishing up Wit's End, a little misclick, but finishing up Wit's End's very good. Getting the boots, great. Getting the pink ward. Yeah, you don't really need the pink ward unless you're gonna dragon soon. Maybe just saving up for the. I mean, and since dragon was just taken, you're not gonna need it for a while. Good ward on blue, especially since the towers are down. Yep, you're giving it to Ez. You're giving this one to Ez. So you're trying to. I think he just seemed disinterested. If your teammates aren't coming, and then they don't care, then just take it, move on, clear your jungle. I mean, you don't have time to wait. Make sure you're doing productive things. Don't sit around dying because your teammate didn't come to take the blue. If they're busy and you just take the blue, that's on you. If they just stand there and don't want to take it, that's on them. Now you're getting into middle a lot of people, doing good, getting kited a little bit, but getting on the Ash, you're very fast. That's why finishing the boots is so important. Just so you don't get kited. You got shut down. Yeah, I mean, Poppy's very hard to fight. Cat's very strong at this point. Yeah, 12-1, of course. I mean, you're 8-2. You're doing well. It's just that's the you probably, instead of getting a giant's belt and a thing, you could probably just finish the phage, just to give you a little more CC. You weren't really dying that much, so I don't know if you need the health as much as you could use the slow. Just for, I mean, locking down that Ash, locking down that Janna, keeping that Nautilus from killing your teammates. Yeah, basically, when someone's really strong, like this cat is, I mean, the urge is to try to gank them to, like, slow them down, but what you want to do is avoid them. Prey on weak people, and fight the, and avoid the strong people. I mean, if you can, 5-man them, if you can get them in a position where they're outnumbered and they're in a bad position, do that. But if you're just in a situation where you're trying to gank them because you think they're ahead, that's really not the train of thought you want to be going for. I mean, there was no way you could help that Ezreal, so like if you had just helped other lanes, if you can win one lane and if you win 2 lanes and it costs you 1 lane, that's just something that, sometimes some lanes aren't going to win. I mean, trying to win all 3 lanes is generally a mistake. I mean, you can't be everywhere, but you have to be somewhere. You have to be making a positive effect somewhere as a jungler. And, you really didn't do that by trying to babysit mid. And I mean, you have a great score right now. I mean, you only have 1 assist, but I mean, you have 8 kills, only 3 deaths. One of the deaths was a mistake, but I mean, the other 2, I mean, Zedon's dying isn't bad. If you die in a fight and it was a good fight for your team, that's not a bad. You just don't sit there and be like, oh, I died a bunch, that's bad. You don't sit there and think, oh, I'm a tank, I'm supposed to die. No, that's not true. But if you die and it was worth it for your team, and it wasn't, it wasn't a mistake, you didn't misplay, that's fine. If the other team sends 5 people and kills you, and your team gets other stuff, that's not a bad thing. That's just they use their resources to kill you, and your score suffered. But if your team didn't suffer, that's the thing. But right now, you guys are just getting pushed. It's good to go back. You guys weren't going to be able to defend. You guys had been poked down too much. It's good to go back. Don't give up all the towers because you're scared to give up 1 tower. Don't be afraid to go back and defend at the next tower, and then not have any health at any of the towers and lose them all because you can never engage. That's a huge mistake a lot of people make because they don't want to give up towers. Because giving up towers is terrible. I mean, you lose a lot of map control, especially when you start losing these mid towers. Especially when you start losing the second one. Then they can just walk anywhere, basically. But this is good. Cat's not here right now. I believe Cat's not here. Yeah, Cat is Archjuggler. Yeah, she's not in here yet. She was top, so this is a good time to fight. She's right here. Now, if you see her about to jump in, this is when you want your people with CC to focus on her. If you can get your ult off on her as soon as she ults, that'd be big, because her ult's going to be hugely strong. Now you kind of flash in, and I think you're trying to knock them towards your team, but you really want to separate the Ashe from your team, unless you guys are all going to gib Ashe. You made a big deal about getting behind her, but you really didn't need to, like, your team wasn't going to burst her down. You weren't catching her. And if you're not catching somebody, it's best to split their AD off from the fight, and you just kill them. Make them try to run away and kite you, and just take them out of the fight with your strong presence. Because you can 1v1 this Ashe. So if it ends up being Ashe and Janna against you, and they kill you, that's fine. You get a good kill on Cat, but you're probably going down here. And it looks like your whole team is going down. And that wasn't because of the way you fought. That's mostly because you guys are just actually a lot weaker than them. Oh, but you're doing great damage to this Ashe. I did slow this down. And Janna shielded herself instead of the Ashe for some reason. That's a little not what she wanted to do. But you do take the Ashe down. But yeah, your team just kind of got annihilated. I mean, that happened. That wasn't your fault. But yeah, just don't try to flash behind them. You want that exhaust. If you could lay that exhaust down on that Ashe, lay the exhaust down on that Cat, like, that changes fights. Flash doesn't give you a lot of things in fights. You're not gonna flash on somebody and ult them. You're not like Annie. You're not gonna flash Tibbers. You're not gonna, like, flash Mummy ult. You're not that kind of character, and you really don't need the ult because you're so fast early. When you're counter jungling, you really don't need the flash. I mean, you can basically duel anyone one-on-one. You can run away from most people. As long as you counter jungle at the right times, you'll never really need flash on Shyvana. On other characters, sure. I mean, right now you guys see a couple people top. If you have ward coverage on Baron, which you basically did, you could basically see if they were going for it, unless they happened to come this way. But you had a decent chance to just pick up a free dragon. And even late, free dragons, just really quick, 10 seconds, 1,000 gold. And that swings games. 1,000 gold is a big deal. All the time. I mean, don't lose Baron for it, but that one was probably just free. This is great. This is exactly what you split Ashe from the fight. That was a great job. It's exactly what you're doing as Shiv. Now this Cat's going nuts. I would send one person there and just ignore the Cat. Just push, get the dragon, try to get Baron if you can. And you guys have 4 up. They have 4 down. You guys could have just picked up that Baron had you not chased that Cat. You guys are going for it now. This is a little risky because they're starting to get back up, but you guys take it down very quickly, so that's good. And then great, just get out. Yeah, don't pour it out in the thing. Just run away. Let Ez good to let Ez farm. Then kind of pour it in the middle of the lane. That's kind of. I think you probably still think you're porting. Yeah. You bought another. You bought a. You don't really need a Warm Hugs and a Frozen Heart. Especially the Warm Hugs late. I mean, you might be able to farm it up, but I don't see what you need. You're not dying that much. You could get some. I mean, I guess they're doing a variety of damage, but you could just get like a better damage item. I mean, there's a few that are pretty good. I mean, Atmos has been nerfed, but that's still a good item. And they do a lot of magic damage, so you could always get you could even get a Hex Drinker. I mean, you already have the Wit's End, of course. You could always just finish your Randuins instead, which would have probably been better, just so you can get that slowdown, get the extra CC, slow the attack speed of Ashe. Basically, I just don't think the Warmogs is a great pickup here, because you're going to have to do something with that Randuin's. You're eventually going to trade in that Wriggles for probably a Bloodthirster. An item like that, I mean, that's basically... A Bloodthirster is basically a big Wriggles. They basically serve the same thing. Much like a Rod is basically a few Doran's rings, a Bloodthirster is basically like a, you know, like an upgraded Wriggles. Is basically what a Bloodthirster serves, so... I mean, late game, that's generally what you trade that in for, because it fills, you know, much of the same role without the free ward, which is unfortunate. But, yeah, I wouldn't go, I mean, I don't think you need 4,000 health. You do have 150 of each resist, so you're very tanky. But I think you need to be a threat. You're the most fed person on your team. And you get the Randuins, you've almost 4,500 health. Like, you just, I mean, this is an AP Poppy. Like, a Hex Drinker into a Maw would probably be a great item right now. Or Force. Get that extra speed, you know what I mean? And just be all over that Ash. Just don't get kited. I mean, that would be good. I mean, usually you don't get this late with Shyvana. You're very fed. So, I mean, it's, you know, it's tough to say what items. I mean, Warmogs isn't bad. It's not, you know, I mean, I'm not saying that you're throwing the game with this Warmog. I'm just saying that you could probably get something, like, I liked finishing the Randuins earlier, and I like getting some kind of damage, because I think you need to be the carry, given how well you're doing. But, I mean, you guys are cleaning up. This is good. You guys are winning fights now. You guys really turn it around. Once you got to the point where Cat couldn't just jump on any of you and kill you. I would just get right back to that tower, unless you guys are going to get Baron, but since your team's not coming to Baron, I'm pretty sure you can't solo it. Oh, but your team comes now. Just make sure you guys all know what the objective you want is, because it seems like you guys had some lack of communication. I mean, you got both, but it's dangerous to do two people on one thing and one person on the other, when you can just finish that tower really quick and then run to Baron right afterwards. You know what I mean? And just, you know, then you can all be in the same place. And what do you sell that for? What do you sell the Wriggles for? Yeah, so you're probably just, you know, doing the same thing I was, trying to figure out what item to buy. Now there's the Force. I mean, you got the Force. I think, yeah, like I said, I think it leaves you a little lacking on damage. I mean, you have 188, but that's, you know, what, because of this Baron buff, which is very powerful. And you could have picked up a couple pots, knowing that these are going to be some big fights coming up. If you get a red pot and a green pot, that's pretty big. And you guys kind of just go a little crazy here, and just lose a fight for no reason, because you guys just decided to engage basically the first thing you saw. You sold boots for a Hex Drinker. I don't think that's a good decision at this point. I would have gone it instead of Warmogs. And your Warmogs is stacked now. I mean, and you don't have any lifesteal either, so, like, while you're sitting there tanking all the damage, you're not healing up at all. And you're still pretty fast because you have, you know, you have this. But without, like, a Triforce or a Phantom Dancer, in addition to this, you're still going to be pretty slow for a while. I mean, for the whole game, basically. And Merc Treads are really good, especially against... Okay, I guess you're trying to give it as blue, but eventually you just take it. I mean, they have CC, they have the Ash, they have the Nautilus, they have the Janna, they have the Poppy. I mean, there's a lot of CC coming out. You probably want the Merc Treads. Selling boots is rarely a good idea. And only really doable when you're a 6-item 80 carry and you have a couple Phantom Dancers. The only time I really do it. With a couple See, now you're really not doing a lot of damage. I mean, you killed the Poppy and you chased the Ash out, which is great. But I just feel like you need to be able to do more damage to be more of a threat. Because, you guys should be pushing right now. Most of you guys should just be pushing. This tower is pretty much a second priority. You should send somebody like a Nunu back. Someone who's not strong. Have the weak people fight the creeps, have the strong people fight the enemy champions, is really how you want to do it. I mean, you know, put your strong people out doing stuff and your weak people just doing cleanup. Is basically how I would how I would divide the labor. Yeah, I think you're waiting for the 1900 for the maw, I'm assuming. It's about 1900. I think it might be exactly 1900. Still trying to get it. Yeah, recognize that you're about to... Yeah, you want to wait for this, but your team's already getting a little bit out of position. You got the maw. Okay, this is the big fight. You didn't have money for parts. Ez did a lot of poke. Just great way to get on Ash. And the lack of boots is killing you right now. This is tough. Okay, Mikhail finishes off. You're getting back. You're going back towards the cat. That's good. That's good. That's the carry. That's the second carry. I like this. I like how you're not chasing. I like how you're just pushing down. And I don't like how you're just kind of going back. I mean, this is bad that it's hitting your towers, but these towers would take care of it, especially if you were intercepting the waves. I mean, you might have lost this, but you would have got this inhib. And getting a tower and an inhib is more important than just losing this tower up top. And you could have picked up Baron easily. That's a big thing too. But you get that now. Good that you all get back. Remember that you can sell a Wit's End. A Wit's End is a 2100 cost item. And it's in your final build. I mean, you could get even like a Triforce or something. Just something like some of those big items that cost more. Because even though Wit's End is a really good, very gold efficient item, you're in your 6-item build where you sold boots. I mean, you're asking to compete with, Triforce and, I mean, no one but Madridge is pretty overcost, but, like even, I mean, a Phantom Dance is only 2800, but, I mean, I would just honestly grab a Triforce, or even an IE, to just give you, or Bloodthirst, or something, I mean, Lifesteal, you really could use Lifesteal. And you guys basically just leave your base and get into kind of like a weird fight where you get kited into the bushes. The lack of boots is killing you. I mean, it's 6 items right now, but you probably should have sold the Wit's End for a Triforce before you built the Maw as a 6 item, and you probably should have got you just potted up. You know what I mean? You could have potted up. But you played well overall. A few mistakes. Kind of like a misevaluation of what Shyvana's role is, which I think is a major issue. If you're gonna pick a jungler like Shyvana, you really need to know that you are a clearer, a counter jungler, not a heavy ganker. A lot of when you win a gank, a lot of it's top lane, where it's a long lane where you can chase with your speed and use that red buff. Since you don't have like a stun and a burst combo, your mid ganks aren't going to be as strong, really. I mean, mid strong when you can get the stun down, and then the mid lane can follow up with a huge burst. But a good game overall, and some things to learn from.